Hello everybody, I'm Lorenzo Martelletti, I'm with Pix4D. It's a pleasure to be here. Sonia and then Patrick asked me to speak about drone mapping for agriculture application. So I will say quickly a few words about Pix4D. Then something about from drones to information, so what's happening today in the market, the components, the workflow, the solution. We'll try to go quickly about the technical things. I've tried to basically, we've learned what people are doing with UAVs since 2010-11. So I'm trying to explain our perspective, what people can really do today with drones in agriculture, and who is it for. This is another important piece of information. I think that the global marketing may confuse stakeholders everywhere. And then I have a couple of suggestions, like humble suggestions for the flying labs or ideas, let's say. It's a software company. Pix4D was founded in 2011 in Lausanne. It grew quickly, so I put these numbers, but just to give you the idea of that there is a phenomenon. We grew from like 0 to almost 100 employees. We just announced our first office in Berlin today, San Francisco, Shanghai, Berlin, and Lausanne, and we have over 10,000 monthly active users. So these are people that use drones to make maps, 3D models for like a big number of applications. So our software, our core knowledge is about transforming images, so 2D information into 3D, into accurate 3D in an automatic way. So we do software, our users use software to create maps and models and then derive information. And it's used in many sectors, geospatial, so the surveying and mapping application, mining, construction, public safety, emergency response, and of course agriculture. We are the first company offering a desktop and cloud solution. It's important because, again, like you hear a lot about cloud processing, but when you speak with people that are actually in the field, I mean, we understood that was the request from 2012. We started as a cloud company, we became a desktop software company, and now we have a hybrid situation. In the field, you need to be able to process without an internet connection. So what happens today? We think about drone mapping. Actually, we can really see a workflow. So there is the flight planning and flight management, an app, flight planning software. There is the platform and the sensor, so the drone that flies, a fixed wing, a copter, and the camera. That's really important. The camera can be a visual camera or a multispectral thermal camera. The sensor is what captures information. In our photogrammetric perspective, the drone is kind of a flying tripod, if you want, right? So we don't care about the drone. It can be a crane, can be a handheld device. It can be an underwater vehicle. The data processing, so we transform images into geometry and make maps. And then there is the analytic and communication part. So analytics means like understanding, elaborating the maps and creating information, and then sharing this type of information. I will skip this. This is just about the offering, some brands that are active in agriculture. This is more interesting to me. So what can you really do, what we have seen, the application that we're seeing today in drone and agriculture. Damage assessment. So you can basically quite easily understand if there's been a damage over a plantation. And this you can do it with basically just a 2D map, visual, and if you want some multispectral imaging. The multispectral part depends on the fact that basically the plant respond to infrared, so reflect infrared light in a different way if they're healthy or not. So by analyzing the multispectral images, you can understand the vigor of the vegetation. Early disease detection, water stress assessment, mainly with thermal cameras, soil analysis for seeding, percolation, erosion, compaction. Counting planes, this is something pretty new. We haven't seen really like many applications so far, but people are working on it. And crop fiber assessment. This is, I would say, the most precision agriculture and high value part of the game. where you think about really like optimizing the fertilizer, the amount of inputs that you want to put in the field based on what you see on a map. So you make a map, you can calculate an index and decide how much fertilizer. So it should not be homogeneous, but you want to put in some areas more, some areas less. So you optimize. A few cases that we've seen. This is to me, this is a really interesting picture. So this is in Argentina. There's a cornfield, and you see, I mean, on the right-hand side of the guy there, the plants are yellowish, and on the left are green, and he's holding the corn. That one hand is like not good, the other like is a good one. So you see that, like, think about understanding what happens from here. So it's like, okay, you can go in. There are snakes and whatever, but the aerial view makes sense for some kind of applications. So this was a flight from our partner Waldoair. It was not specifically a drone, but it's the same technology. Imagine like flying a small camera on a small plane. It's basically a drone. You see that basically in a very short time you can fly over a field and you can understand. So in this area here, they tried to think that was a pest, actually, what they found. So they planted a pest-resistant variety. It didn't work out at all. So with the flight, they saw immediately that was a salinity issue. So there was a stream flow, and there was salt-related issues that they came out from that were confirmed by soil analysis. So you fly, and you can think that in 1 hour you get your answer. Carrot, this is like another case in Netherlands. Potassium optimization. So for carrot, potassium in the soil is important, and so you don't see it happening until the moment where you do some vegetation analysis. So this was a flight with a drone with a multispectral camera. You can produce an index map. In this case, it's the NDRE is called the index, and then somebody thinks about how to create a tractor prescription map. So it's a variable rate application map out of that map that comes out of the drone. Right? There is, in this case, a human process in between. Somebody that thinks between what comes out of the drone and how much fertilizer to put on the carrot field. Another example, soil analysis. This is also a relatively easy one. So in this case, the users correlated the color of the orthomosaic with the soil texture and the organic matter. So basically, they came out with some index analysis, and in the red parts, they decided to plant with higher density the seeds. So these are real case examples. It's early to say, to give really assessment about the yield improvement or how much money you save, because agriculture takes a long time, and like measuring, it's not so easy. But these are like things that really like specialists are experimenting today, and they really say they're successful, although they cannot really like quantify very well how much. So, some thoughts with our experience. So we are still today in agriculture delivering data and not information. This is a very important topic to me. A farmer, so if you really think about a farmer doesn't want to see an NDVI map. They want to know how much fertilizer they have to put there and there, okay? So today, drone precision agriculture with drones is not for farmers. Then, of course, we can discuss about the definition of farmer. If you think about Monsanto as a farmer, yes, they have their crop scientists, it's fine. But otherwise, if you think about a small farmer, no. This is my opinion. There is, and this is despite the marketing that you read in on the web. So there is like the farmer saved that amount of money and so on. There is always somebody in between. It's a double complexity. Imagine, like in the surveying world, they were used to photogrammetry or a laser scanner or GPS. So at some point the drones came in and they said, okay, easy, it's a new technology, I just have to learn how to fly a drone and I can make the maps that I was already used to handle, right, to use. In the case of agriculture, apart from like with satellite images, so we're talking about very large scale, nobody was really used to high resolution multispectral maps and 3D models. So it's something new. You're adding like double complexity. You're adding a new tool and you're adding the aerial precision agriculture. So, and if you look at like all these use cases, there's always a crop scientist involved, an agronomist. So the agronomic engineer is the person that is today bridging between the drone flight and the final information. So there is a big need of for accuracy. You cannot understand what happens if you don't give accurate results and accurate data, accurate maps, both geometrically and radiometrically, and research is still needed. And this is also our focus. So both in marketing but also in research and development, it's about accuracy. Pix4D is investing in making good reflectance maps, so you can have a sort of flying spectrometer that can give good information to researchers. So, to finish, a couple of suggestions for the flying labs. One is like to keep it simple, a low-hanging or low-flying fruit, I would say, in this case. The services for agriculture insurance inspection. So thinking more about the entrepreneurship part and the business incubation. So today there is, we were exposed actually in 2011 already in China to big agricultural insurance companies that were using drones for assessing the damage, investigating. The investigation is something relatively simple. Basically people need a map and need to know how many hectares were damaged. Or, you see this, even a photo. So in a photo you can just fly, take a picture from above and report the damage. So very, very easy to use information. And the second, but actually I've seen it already, actually I've heard of it by the flying lab coordinators already, is to team up with research. So today what we're seeing in agriculture is that the users and the buyers of the technology are research centers. Professional agronomists, of course, but crop scientists, yes, but the main users today are research centers. This is because they're still trying to understand what's happening, right? So they have the agronomic knowledge, they're trying to see from the air what's happening. And to me there is an opportunity to team up with research centers in Africa, being with many plant research centers in Africa, and like to think about the drone agronomists. So there could be the idea of like educating somebody that can put together this knowledge, the agronomic knowledge and the drones, and then serve the farmers and the cooperative of farmers. Yeah, that's it.